Back with one more I will commitment tip. This is tip number 4, and I'm going to expect it will make some sense to you, but I want to underscore why it's so important. Tip number 4 is this: get an I will commitment buddy. Get someone who can help hold you accountable. Let me share an interesting statistics I came across the other day. I've been reading a couple of books on influence and change, and in particular in the Book of Change, they talk a lot about the fact that lots of us get motivated to change something in our life. Like, we're trying to help motivate you all be motivated to pursue radical transformation, to make some changes in our life. And in the book, they make the observation that, there are some people who make a commitment to change and it just doesn't happen. There are other people who make a commitment to change and it does happen. What's the difference between the two? Well, here's an interesting statistic. So they took, I don't remember the exact details, I think they took something like 200 females, all of whom wanted to lose weight, all of whom made a commitment that they would walk 30 minutes a day, every day as a part of their weight loss plan. And what they did is they split them into 2 groups. So let's say there were 100 of them who just made the commitment, went off on their own to do it. The other 100, what they did is they made the commitment, went off on their own to do it, but this 100 people every 3 weeks got a phone call from somebody who just said, "How you doing at your walking regimen?" Now, interestingly, these phone calls didn't necessarily come from a friend or even someone they knew. Sometimes the phone call came from a stranger. What was striking is this: of the 100 people who got a phone call every 3 weeks asking them how they were doing in their walking regimen, do you know that their success rate was 78% higher than the 100 ladies who didn't have anybody checking in on them? So here's the little principle behind it. It's a biblical principle. We find it throughout the scriptures. We find it in the book of Proverbs. Accountability will help. So who do you have in your life who can just maybe once every 2 or 3 or 4 weeks say, "How you doing with your radical transformation challenges?" And it might be somebody you meet with face to face. It might just be somebody who you agree to make a phone call back and forth every few weeks. For some of you who are married, might be your spouse is the one who asks you that question. You ask them that question. It could be a sibling, a friend. It could be a stranger, and it seems like it would help. So here's the tip. Get a buddy. Get somebody who can check in on you regularly. Find somebody that you can check in on regularly. And I believe that as we do that, it will up our success rate at living out the commitments we're making. That success rate's really important because these commitments that we're reaching prayerfully are things that are going to help us experience a larger degree of radical transformation in our life. So start thinking about your buddy now. We'll talk about that a little bit on the weekend as well. Blessings to you.